Dressed to excess. If you traveled back in time to the 1700s in Europe, you would laugh when you saw how the aristocracy dressed. Soon you'd realize, though, that the aristocrats of Europe were very serious about their appearance. Their appearance was one way of denoting their rank in the social hierarchy. The predominant style in women's attire was enormous dresses. They were often 3 times larger than the wearer. Ladies even used pads to enlarge the appearance of their hips and shoulders. On the other extreme, the aristocratic women made their waists appear extremely thin. It took several maids stretching fabric and pulling straps in order to get a lady's waist to the proper thinness. These ladies could barely breathe and often fainted. Pale skin was also a craze, yet this too was done in excess. One could not simply be pale. Instead, she needed to look as if she was ill. In order to look paler, ladies actually cut themselves daily so they would bleed. The hairstyles, however, were the most striking part of women's fashion. These stood a meter high on the ladies' heads. The columns of hair were a ridiculous tangle of wigs, jewels, flowers, and even stuffed birds. Their partners, the men, were similarly absurd. Today, they would probably seem very feminine. Reputable men wore wigs of long, curly hair. Their shoes had large soles or high heels so that they could walk high above the filth on the streets. Furthermore, just like the ladies, the men wore lipstick and painted their cheeks red. Their clothes were brightly colored, often purple and pink. They were made from the finest of fabrics and decorated with jewels and lace. The men competed with one another to see who wore the more expensive clothes, for the clothing signified wealth and status. Both men and women spent huge amounts of money and time on how they looked, but it was part of the protocol they were expected to follow. Though such vanity would seem strange today, 300 years from now, the fashions of our time might also seem completely ridiculous.